I'll share it with you because Proverbs 14:4 is a deep theological text, and one that it takes perhaps years of theological training, of perhaps even growing up in the Midwest to actually get proper understanding of. Okay, and it begins this way. Where there are no oxen, the manger is empty. If you have no oxen, the manger stays clean. There's no trouble having a clean manger if you have no oxen. But there's a problem with that. From the strength of the ox comes an abundant harvest. Now it says if you don't have any oxen, you have no ox poo. But the problem becomes is if you want to have a harvest, if you want some work, guess what? You're going to have to put up with some ox poo. The manger is not going to be clean. Now, again, this is one of those great biblical truths. There's no doubt about it being true, because you're going to have to deal with some poo in your life. If you have ox, or there's a whole different set of applications for our daily life here. You see, this text actually is universal. It fits for everything. It fits in work. You know, if you want to have work, it fits with family, it fits with friends, it even fits with school, and it fits with our hobbies. We have all these things in our lives we love, all these things we do, but guess what? With every one of them comes some struggle. It comes with our work, it comes we have to balance our work with how frustrated it makes us. It balances our family, and we love our family, but sometimes we love them a little further away than close up. Because the drama they bring in, the poo they bring into our lives is not worth it. Friends also, you've had friends who just bring a lot of drama into your life. Some you've probably cut loose from your life, realizing they bring me too much struggle, too much strife. Now school is of course just because your teachers want you to do work and you don't want to do work. Or for the teachers, it's because we would love to teach, but darn it entails those students. We love them as a group, but individually, they can be fun. Hobbies are the same way. I'll never forget one night I was standing on top of a football stadium on the box office on top of it. I videotaped the football games for our local school. And it's a nice, cool, crisp fall evening. It snow's getting, you can feel the snow in the air. I know that makes some of you shiver just to hear that. And I'm standing up there with another gentleman who does the statistics, and he goes, you know what? He says, it's time to put away the toys for the winter. He said, every toy I've got I wanted. He said, now they just become a struggle. And it can be that way with our hobbies, with something we really wanted. It can be that way even with pets that we get. Oh mom, oh dad, I will take care of the dog every day. I will walk them, I will feed them. And a couple months later, mom or dad is taking care of the dog. Daily living is actually all about getting a proper positive to poo ratio in your life. That's really all it is. It's how do we reconcile our struggles and have a positive aspect with it. The not so secret is that life is messy. Every day is a struggle. Every day, even if it's a great day, has some moments in it that cause you to struggle. And there are some days when it seems, my goodness, the manger is clean. And there are other days when you're thinking, how did it get this dirty? And it's maintaining that balance. Proverbs 16:2 tells us, all of a man's ways seem innocent to him. It goes back to that gospel text, where some people think that everything they do should be acceptable to God and He should let them in. But Jesus told the church, that those doors to the kingdom of heaven are yours for a reason. Because we don't want people to feel that they're going into heaven with all the garbage we're carrying. All a man's ways seem innocent to him, but motives are weighed by the Lord. You see, the motives, the heart, is what God looks at. So life is messy. And sometimes people think the mess is all in the fun, but the mess can get in our way. Can get in our way of our relationships with one another, can get in our way of our relationship with God. And in a world of improper ratios, only God's love can truly cleanse. When life gets messy, when that ratio is in the wrong way, when it seems like there's very little blessings and there's a mountain of mess, God can cleanse that in our lives. Proverbs 16:6 tells us, through love and faithfulness, sin is atoned for. And through the fear of the Lord, a man avoids evil. Again, it ties back to that gospel text. It ties back to Jesus saying, who do you say that I am? He started that, if you remember, first by asking, who do the people say the Son of Man is? And oh, they could give all sorts of answers. Well, some say it's Elijah, some say it's another prophet. And Jesus held them their feet to the fire a little bit. He says, no, who do you say that I am? And Peter, always quicker to speak his heart than to necessarily think first, says, you are the Christ, the Son of God. You see, only through the love and faithfulness of Christ is our sin atoned for. Only through His love, through His faithfulness, through His death upon the cross is our sin, are we cleansed of our sin. And only when we truly understand that, when we understand what faith is believing in God, trusting in Him, and seeking to not cause Him grief. That fear of the Lord, recognizing how great and awesome our God is and what He has given to us, that we may desire to serve Him and show our thankfulness to Him. Not because it earns us salvation, but because it shows we understand the price He paid for our sin. We understand the price He paid that we might be with Him. Well, life is full of people seeking their own ways. This goes back to that Proverbs 16. But that's not God's wisdom. People will seek all sorts of ways to tell you how to get the ratio in your life, cut people loose, cut corners. But Proverbs 18 says, an unfriendly man pursues selfish ends. He defies all sound judgment. You see, these are some of the friends in your life who will tell you that, oh, well, you don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to follow all those things. You don't have to love God. And would a loving God make you not have fun? And the answer is, a loving God tells us how to have fun that lasts for eternity, and not fun that makes us feel ashamed or tired or worn out afterwards. If a person encourages you to do something that is against God's will, is against God's way, he's not your friend. He's an unfriendly man. He's not a friend who will stick with you. He's not a friend who will stay. He is a friend for a moment. So as we think back to that stable and what it means to be in a proper ratio, the proper ratio in our lives can only be found by yielding to God. You see, if we don't have God to help clean things, if we don't have God to cleanse our lives through His blood, the refuge in our stable is going to grow and grow. When we lived in Wisconsin, we had a number of dairy farmers in our congregation. One of the interesting things I've ever seen is, and trust me, they figure out how to handle the poo in the stable. They have a little mechanical conveyor that just wheels that poo all the way out. It's right at the back of where the cows stand, and it just kind of continually goes around, and it goes out, and then it feeds a trailer that fills up with poo, and then they take that and they spread it over their fields. You see, it's not that the cows, they know the cows are going to poo, but they also know how to handle it. Life in this world is messy, but how we handle it is is if we understand that it is messy and that God has a solution to take that from us. Proper ratio can only be attained by yielding to God. In Proverbs 21 it says, "He who pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor." You see, seeking the right thing, seeking after the right thing, will keep that ratio in proper order. We will still have trouble in this world. John 16:33, as I've shared before, one of my favorite promises from God, and it's a favorite because I've seen it fulfilled again and again. It says, "In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I've overcome the world." Our stables will never be clean because we live in a messy world. But they can be managed as we pursue God, as pursue His righteousness, as we love as God loves. And God will bless us in that. Proverbs 21:3 says, "There is no wisdom, no insight, no plan that can succeed against the Lord." You see, God is in control. When we think that we've got it all in hand, that we can handle it all ourselves, we wind up either with an empty stable with no God at all, or we wind up with one where we've locked the doors from God and what's building up inside is not good in our lives. As we go forth today, you can remember that great proverb 14:4, "Where there is no ox, the stable is clean." It may appeal to us to shut all the people out of our lives, to say, well, I'm going to get rid of all the distractions in my life. And you find yourself locked up all by yourself. I love that old bumper sticker that says, everybody else is crazy, only you and me are normal, and I'm not so sure about you. We find ourselves alone in the world, and we find out that our life still isn't clean. When we've gotten rid of everyone we blame, unfortunately the only person we can look and see in the mirror is ourselves, and the blame lies with us. But as we open the door for God, as we follow after Him, as we seek His justice, as we seek His will, as we seek His way, our life comes into balance. Oh, our life will never be perfect this side of heaven. But the ratio of trouble to cleanliness in our life gets a lot better. And God doesn't promise us ease here on earth, but He promises eternity with Him, which is a blessing beyond all we can imagine. So may God be with you as we recall this day, and remember that the goal is not to have a clean manger, but a proper ratio in our lives. And only by God can that be attained. May God be with you this day and each day. Amen. Let us rise.